Alrighty, and away we go. Oh, there he is. Okay. So I got my night loadout. We're going to be doing a little bit of night stuff, a little bit of day stuff. So we'll see. Nerves are a little high today, folks. And I don't think that I need a Black Hawk, or I don't think I need to set up a Chinook. Today is going to be pretty much all CAS check-ins, cast with the Littlebird, cast with the Apache, and then a auto rotation and evasion exercise. So I think we should be good there. Sheep will be right back. Now my red force markers, I'm still a little shaky on. I need to get a cheat sheet for my red force markers. I believe that's ArmA. I'm not positive, but anyway, I'm not going to learn it tonight. But hopefully I'll be able to get some kind of cheat sheet so that I can figure out what the heck it all means. Started using track IR about a week ago. And so far I really like it, especially for flying. I haven't really used it much on the ground, but eventually I'll want to maybe incorporate it in the ground so I don't have to hold down a mouse button for a free look. Seems to be pretty cool. I can kind of look over. Might have to adjust a little bit for my peaking and whatnot, but
hopefully you got my message there.
That you'd be right back. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome to day 4 of flight school.
Looking forward to it.
Yep. All right. So today, it's all about cast platforms. So the primary is going to be Littlebird and Warlord, of course. We're going to talk about both birds, recon, gunnery, some evasive flight, the different types of communications for each bird. So particularly check-ins and your 5 lines, and then emergency procedures. Swings his head back around for day 4.
Roger that.
All right, so for today, the grading criteria is going to be 8 different items. There's going to be weapon selection. There's going to be cast check-ins, cast 5 lines, the Littlebird gunnery. There's going to be Warlord gunnery and recon. There's going to be Warlord piloting, auto rotations, and then the last is the evasion exercise. So before we get started, do you have any questions about days 1 through 3 or anything that's you're unsure of with day 4?
Negative, no questions.
I'm going to try and keep this as smooth as possible for you, so we're not wasting too much of your time.
Not a problem, Chief.
All right, so you're welcome to follow along with me in the document. I'm not going to read it verbatim. I'm just going to hit the highlights for you because I'm assuming that you already read it multiple times. So I'm only going to hit the stuff that is the most important items, okay?
Paper.
All right, so starting with the weapon systems, know that both birds have varying types of weapons that they can use. Generally, some items, such as Hellfires, have 2 variants. So you have an Ace variant and then a regular vanilla RHS/Cup variant. I'm not sure which, but it's for all intents and purposes, it won't say Ace on it. So with the Apache, you're always going to want to use the Ace variant if it's available. So the primary weapon system on the Apache is going to be the Hellfire. Comes in several different variants. You got your Lima, which is your radar guided. You got Kilos and Novembers, which are laser guided. The Kilos and the Limas are both anti-tank, heavier armor targets. Novembers are going to be your thermobaric. Again, that's laser guided. And then we also have something that's called a Mike variant that is not in the document, but you'll start to see that pop up. And that's going to be a fragmentary type Hellfire. You have 2 sidewinders on each side of the Apache only. Does not, Littlebird or Lancer does not have any of that stuff. You then have your APKWS or Ligers. We tend to use the term for, which is technically wrong, but just for brevity, that's what we use. And very similar to that is going to be your daggers. Both are laser guided. Daggers come in 8 and 16 variants. So you have 16 or 8 different rockets, depending on which variant you use. And there is also now a APKWS variant that's about to come out that will have more than the 7. So I believe I think we're expecting the 19. Don't quote me exactly on that, but it should have more. Then we have the M230 30 mil chain gun that sits on the nose, underneath the nose of the Apache. And then for the Lancer, we have Gal 19, which is the 50 cal, and then you have the M134, which is the 7.62 equivalent. And then the 70 mil Hydra rockets that you have two variations. So you'll see that you have M151, which is a 10 pounder. Both are dumb fired Hydra rockets. And then you have the M229, 17 pounders, a little bit bigger of a warhead. There's a big difference there. And then, of course, between the M151, M229, those are your 17 pounders. The M260 and 261 are going to be your 10 pounders. So the 260 variation is going to be, so 260 is the smaller rocket pod, and then the 261 is going to be larger. Same thing with the 151 and the 229. So you got 151 is the smaller rocket pod, 229 is going to be the larger one.
Okay, copy that. I was wondering about the difference between all of the numbers there.
Yeah, it's going to be type of warhead and number of rockets per pod.
Roger that.
So you essentially have 4 variants that you can choose from. I personally, especially if it's the Apache and I'm for some reason putting those on there, I'm gonna just go with the 17 pounder. I'm either gonna and most likely gonna do the M229 since that's the 17 pounder with the 19 rocket pod.
Copy that.
All right, so let's go ahead and move over to the birds. I assume you set this one up with your radio.
Affirm.
All right, so do you have a loadout save that's just an empty null loadout, like nothing's in it?
Are you saying for the bird?
Correct.
Negative. I've never been really shown how to do that. I know how to configure pylons, but I don't know how to save loadouts.
Okay. So what you're going to do, you're going to go up to the bird, you're going to ace interact with it. You're going to go ahead and choose the loadout that you want. In this case, it needs to be all empty. All right. And then on the right-hand side, you're going to see several buttons that say save, load, apply. I can't remember what the last one is. So what you're going to do, you're going to type in that field, the name that you want, and then you're going to type save. So in this case, you want it to be empty, and then you'll save it. So every time you come up to a bird, it's good practice to go ahead and empty the pylons with your loadout, and then save in the appropriate, load in the loadout that you're desiring.
Okay, copy that.
Yeah, and so the reason we do that, sometimes there's some issues where it doesn't map to the right pilot or to the gunner, or sometimes you'll have an entire pod that doesn't map to either, and it essentially becomes dead weight. All right, so you have that saved?
Affirm.
All right, so in the future, now all you have to do, you walk up to the bird, you hit that empty, you'll click on your empty one that you just created, and then you'll hit load, and then apply, and it'll go ahead and remove all those pylons. So you don't have to do that. So what I typically do, I have one loadout that has ammunition on it, because for me, it's honestly too easy to just change out 1 or 2 pylons if I need to. But the big thing you want to watch out for is who it's assigned to. So for the purposes of flight school, you're always going to assign the sidewinders to the pilot, and then all the other 4 pylons are going to be assigned to the gunner.
Okay, copy.
All right. So for the purposes of day 4, just to go through the Hellfire, all the weapon systems again, and the type of target: Limos, Kilos, heavy armored targets; Novembers, your light targets; unarmored trucks, infantry, mics, same as the Novembers. Sidewinders are always air-to-air. Ligers, again, are very similar to your Novembers and your mics. 30 mil chain gun, Gal 19, M134, again, all light targets. You can sometimes engage heavier targets with success, but don't expect it. And then your Hydra rockets are kind of an in-between, mostly used on light infantry or unarmored targets.
Okay, copy that.
All right. So do you have any questions about weapon systems?
Just the APKWS, the LAO 131. You said we typically refer to as ligers. Is that the same? Is that going to come up the same as daggers? Is it the same type of um, what am I trying to say? The same type of nomenclature there as daggers, or is it different?
Technically speaking, they are different. So the APKWS actually stands for Advanced Precision Kill Weapons System, and really where the difference is, they're both a variation of a Hydra rocket, where some guidance system has been put on with maybe some different warheads. For our purposes, they're all going to be a laser guided Hydra rocket. We don't have to distinguish between one or the other. For when you do your check in, yeah, go ahead and designate either the dagger or the liger, but functionally they are the exact same. It's just kind of one of those nuances that you got to keep track of.
Okay, copy. That answers my question.
And then dagger is direct attack guided rocket. But again, it's really just a matter of who is the manufacturer of those systems.
Okay, copy. And just to reiterate, daggers and ligers are more for your lighter armored vehicles, maybe like your BTRs and whatnot, and not effective against tanks and heavy armor.
Right. I mean, if you try and engage a BTR, you can expect to probably put several of them on that target before they even dismount, just by the nature of the way they work.
Okay.
Unless you just happen to get a really good hit.
So more like a Gaz or a Ural or something like that.
Right. And they're also decent at infantry. So, if you're in an environment where you've got, a lot of collateral damage that you don't want to create, they could be a viable option.
Okay, copy.
All right. So now that we got that, what I want you to do is I want you to create a second loadout. I called mine AGM 114 multi-purpose. You can do whatever you want. You can call it whatever you want. What I want you to do is I want you to create a loadout that has a different variant on every pylon. So one pylon's kilos, one's Novembers, one's Limas, one's daggers, as an example. And then what I do as you get through, say you're doing an operation and you don't need, a rack of kilos or something. You can quickly switch it out for something else before you apply the loadout. Now, if you want to get high speed, you can create a loadout for every instance that you want. But I personally just don't. I just go with one.
Copy. What did you say you called yours?
I just call it multi-purpose. So, if you'll see, there's a few loadouts already there for the jets. You can just borrow one of the names there if you want.
Okay, so I have the Sidewinders. I have a pod of 16 daggers, a pod of 4 times Limas, a pod of 4 times kilos, and a pod of 4 times Novembers.
Yep, that'll work. All right, and just to verify, just want to make sure you got those sidewinders on the pilot, which should be the little steering wheel icon, and then everything else should be on the gunner, which should be the reticle icon.
Let me double check that.
Can you get the rearm truck for me?
Actually, I have the daggers and the kilos showing on the pilot. How do I change that?
You're just going to click the icon.
1 times ground moving on taxiway 07 to rearm.
Okay. Got
It should
copy.
switch. And then if you hit apply, it may or may not switch it. So in this instance, this is one of those times where you might have to load your empty loadout and then reapply the one you want. And then, of course, once you've applied everything and armed the aircraft, you always want to hop into both seats and make sure that you have what you intended.
Okay, copy. Yeah, it didn't save that, so I'll have to do this again real quick.
Copy, ground traffic clear of taxiway Sierra 7.
Man, they really need to fix the muffler on that thing.
Why is it fucking going nuts? Or?
It is loud. All right. Do you have any questions about loadouts, weapon systems, different types of missiles, rockets, all that? Guns?
Negative.
Okay. It's the exact same for the Littlebird. And you need to create a loadout for that as well. Both an empty and a multi-purpose. It's not such a big deal with Littlebird since it's a little bit easier to set up.
Okay, copy.
All right. How long do I got you for?
I will stick it out for as long as necessary, Chief. So.
The big piece is that I'll need it for the Apaches.
Yeah,
which I have a feeling is going to end up happening about the same time.
That's fine. It's they've got at least one pilot. So well, if they want the Apaches or whatever, well, they can DAS can rig up a Littlebird with 229s and fucking 2 kilos. So.
All right. So the next piece, and this is a critical piece of the operation, is going to be your check-in. All right. So your check-in is 6-ish lines. It's kind of catered to what we have within our own unit. So you're going to call Dagger. You're going to request the check-in, and they're going to say standing by. You're going to say this is Warlord 1x AH-64 Apache. Echo Apache Guardian. You're going to give a distance in kilometers from their current location. You don't have to give a bearing, but you can say, to the northwest, northeast. As long as they have a general idea of where you are, that's fine. And then you're going to declare an altitude, and that's going to be in angels. So 1 angel is 1,000 feet. Mr. Lane, do you know what it is for hundreds of feet?
Now, I think you told me this. Either you or the captain told me about this. I do not recall the term, and I'm gonna kick myself as soon as I hear it.
All right, it is cherubs. So that's Charlie Hotel Echo Romeo Uniform Bravo Sierra. So 1 cherub is 100 feet. Now, you don't hear cherubs very often, but if you're going to be doing like pop-up attacks or anything like that, you're going to say cherubs 1 or less, which will indicate less than 100 feet, which is pretty close to the ground.
That I mean, that actually makes sense because a cherub is a baby angel. So yeah, okay, that's cool.
All right, So once you're done that, you're going to declare your weapon system configuration with the Apache. Make sure you don't forget the pilot's weapon systems as well. So you're going to say, 1200 on the guns or full load on the guns. They've worked with us enough that they know what a full load is. Say 4 times Kilo Hellfires, 4 times November Hellfires, 4 times Lima Hellfires, 2 times AIM. I believe they're M Sidewinders now. Are the ones are X?
X-ray.
Okay, X-ray are the ones that work. And then whatever other weapons you have, so daggers in this case potentially, and then you're going to declare your capability, right? So in the Apache, you're always going to be laser. In the Lancer, it's sometimes if you have 2 people in Lancer, you can be laser. If it's just 1, you will not. Then DCS, you will always have DCS capabilities in the Apache. In Lancer, again, depends if you're 1 or 2 pilots. And then FAC, if you have a JTAC qualified gunner or pilot, you are FAC capable. Otherwise, you are not. I don't know about Mr. Lane, but I think he might be FAC capable.
As of this past weekend, a firm chief.
Nice. All right, so
congratulations.
He is the only one here that is FAC capable. I believe Bowman, and actually, I think that's it.
Yep.
So what that is forward air controller. That's what that stands for. And then next, you're going to declare where your fuel is by a percentage. You're going to have to estimate it, 90, 95% or whatever. And then you're going to give, you're going to say bleeding, which just indicates that you're using the fuel. And then time on station. For the Warlord, it's 120. It's 0 plus 120 minutes. For the Littlebird, I believe it's 60 minutes. And then we don't have to worry about anything else because those are the only 2 Caspers that we've got. And then you're going to declare an abort code. I use something simple such as abort. You'll hear people use Raspberry Pi. You'll have some other kittens or whatever it is. Feel free to choose something that's unique to you, but it's still easy enough that Dagger can remember. And then if they have to call it, they can say it really quickly. So sometimes if they're running 2 birds with different cast missions, and they just need to cancel 1. That's the reason why they have to be unique to each bird.
Okay, copy that.
And then once you're done with that, you just say, I'll copy my check-in, and then they should repeat everything you just told them. They might do it in a little bit different order based on how they write it down or whatever their sheet is. So you have any questions about the check-in?
No, Chief.
Okay. So the check-in for me, what I personally do is I just have it already listed out, and then I just go through it, bam, bam, bam. Helps me so I don't miss anything as well.
Hey, Fern. I have a cast check-in, pre-printed cast check-in sheet and 5-line sheet and all that stuff right next to me. So.
All right, perfect. All right. So once you're done with your check-in, then you'll be starting a loiter pattern. You'll start a racetrack. Whatever it is, depending on the enemy that's in the AO, you'll kind of adjust to what's going on. So if there's AA presence, your standoff is going to be a little bit further than if there's not. If there's good terrain, you might hide behind a hill or something. So it really just depends on the enemy threat, the terrain, and the capabilities of the aircraft that you're operating in. So when you're doing casts, there's 3 different types of control. Type 3 is the least restricted control. All you have to do is tell Dagger, hey, of course, Dagger will give you type 3. You can't assume type 3 unless there's some very rare circumstances, such as, multiple mass cows or Daggers incapacitated in some form or fashion and uniforms not able to pick up the slack. Those are really the only times you can assume a type 3. But otherwise, if you haven't been told type 3, you're not type 3. All right, so type 3, again, is least restrictive. It means the JTAC Dagger doesn't have visual on you or the aircraft. Next is type 2. Dagger has visual on one or the other. So they either can see you or they can see the enemy, but not both. That type 1 is where they have both. So most of the time, you will have type 2. And what they will see is the enemy. They won't see you. If they see you, then you're probably too close anyway. unless there's absolutely zero AA threat in the AO. So with type 1 and type 2, you're going to be cleared hot. With type 3, you're going to be cleared to engage. It's very important that you understand the difference for a couple of reasons. One is if they say cleared to engage, but they didn't call type 3 authorization, that's a good indicator to, hey, maybe something's not quite lining up right. Maybe they meant something else. So that's a good point to where you can come in and ask clarification. And ultimately, the last thing, the reason why I have these different types of control is to ensure that we're not shooting in areas that we shouldn't shoot. We're not shooting enemy friendlies by accident. So it's important to understand each type. Do you have any questions on control types?
No, Chief.
All right. So the next piece is 5 lines. For today, you're going to get a 5 line for everything, with the exception being is if there's an enemy target that you notice and then you call it the dagger. It doesn't necessarily have to be a full 5 line because it's redundant for the dagger TAC-P to say a grid and all that stuff that you've already previously identified. However, there has to be clear communication between the aircraft gunner and TAC-P dagger that they're talking about the same target. So, for example, say you call out a target, right? 10 minutes elapse. Now, dagger says, okay, that target he called out earlier, let's take it out. In this instance, you'll probably receive a full 5 line. For today, you will, if that's the case, simply because we want to be sure that we're talking about the same target. There's nothing worse than hitting the wrong target that was potentially designated for another bird or some other asset to take care of. So if you say, hey, there's a target at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and they say acknowledge 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then they'll, from that point, they can abbreviate some items and say, you're clear type 2 on previously called out target. But if there's anything in between there, just, expect full 5 line. So for line 1, again, it's going to be the type of control, 1, 2, or 3, plus the type of ordnance. So sometimes they'll say, 1 kilo, 1 lima, whatever the case may be, or sometimes they won't say anything at all. So at that point, it's on you to understand the target that you're going to be shooting at, and then designate your own ordnance. If there's a point where you need clarification, just get on the radio, say, hey, are you looking for a Hellfire? Or whatever it is you think it is. Because sometimes they won't tell you, the type of target you're shooting at. So it's important to make sure we, keeping the communication open, even if it's not as formal as the complete 5 line. So line 2, they're always going to give you a friendly equation plus potentially a marker or a designator. Could be smoke, could be IR, strobe. And this is just so that, we don't have any blue on blue incidents. Last thing is going to be, or line 3 is going to be target location. That's going to be a grid, blue for marker, depending on what assets are available. Line 4 is going to be the target description, if they have it. And then the line 5 is going to be any additional remarks or restrictions. And that can be, quite varied on what they give you. So just kind of, watch out for what they do on line 5.
Okay, copy.
All right, and then, of course, you can see the example there. Do you have any questions on 5 lines?
No.
Okay, perfect. And for you, 5 lines are actually pretty easy because you're not actually creating the 5 line. You're just receiving it. You're going to write it down real quick, and then you're going to say what they told you. So for me, come up with some kind of shorthand. So for example, if they say friendlies 200 meters to the northwest, you can just write F 200M and then a little arrow that points northwest. If you assume on your paper north is up.
Okay, roger that. I believe Mr. Lane had a comment.
Go for it.
Hey, firm. Thanks, Chief. 2 comments. One on your type control. just remember that type control is normally regarded as in regards to the desired action and the duress, or rather the proximity of friendly forces in regards to the target. So if anything's danger close, you'll never get type 3 control for it. If you get type 3 control and then it comes up danger close or whatever, that should be an immediate red flag for you. And then another thing is with type 1 and type 2 control, you will be cleared hot on a target in an individual target generally. Type 2 control may extend beyond one target, but generally speaking, type 1 and type 2 control are against singular targets. Type 3 control is generally against multiple targets within an AO. And then for type 3 control, you'll also be cleared to engage, which again ties back to the fact that you'll generally, when you're given type 3 control, it's to engage multiple targets within a specific kill box. So, and then target priority, just to reaffirm what Chief said. This even happened, I think actually the last time I was up in the air for Task Force Charlie, I believe. So we had, or no, Bravo, I'm sorry. When I was running the gun for the Apache, is what had happened is I had received the 5 line for a tank on the ground that was moving. And what I didn't know is that there were like 3 different tanks, like 3 different main battle tanks operating within pretty much the same grid. And so when I was, getting rounds on target, basically, it was one of those things where I thought I was hitting the right target, but because I was having to self-confirm, self-designate, and then guide the ordnance in myself or whatever, it ended up coming back as it wasn't the correct target. So just be aware that is a possibility, and that if you need to get as much information as possible within what the situation permits. So if you have troops under fire or whatever, like, there's a certain degree expected of you that it's kind of like take care of what's down there, as opposed to waiting around to confirm that you have exactly the right target. So chances are, if you have 3 tanks coming in on the flank or whatever, infantry's probably getting their shit pushed in. So
okay, copy that.
That's all I had, Chief. Thank you.
All right, no, that's good. So any questions about 5 lines?
No, Chief.
All right, so moving on to attack maneuvers. So within the attack maneuver, there's really 4 types. Here they have 5, and I'll explain why I say 4. So you got the slashing attack. So this is the simplest of all of them. They're all really pretty simple, but the slashing attack, you're going to be given a target, you're going to be coming in, lay down ordnance, and you're just going to keep flying right over it. All right, so this is only used when there's literally 0 AA threat. Small arms threat is very, very, very minimal, and or you have enough altitude that it negates that factor altogether. Break-off attack is if there's a little bit more of a threat to the aircraft, you're going to come in, you're going to engage your targets, and then you're immediately going to break left, right, or do a quick, U-turn so you get out of the AO. So in this case, you don't fly over the target. You're just going to go lay your ordnance. As soon as you're done, you're going to break off. Hence where same comes from. And again, with all of these, it's important not to get that tunnel vision and, fly into the ground or fly too close to the target there. Standoff and pop-up targets are both very, very similar. The big difference with the standoff is there's no cover for the aircraft. So you're going to literally come in, you're almost going to hover. You can do a little bit of straddling left and right. But again, this is kind of one of those things that there's no, AA presence or very little threat to the aircraft. And then a pop-up, a little bit more threat to the aircraft, such as some AA stuff. But again, with the pop-up, you're going to come straight up, gain altitude, shoot your ordnance off, and then you're going to drop back down, either behind a hill, mountain, building, behind some trees, whatever you have in the way of cover for the aircraft. With the standoff, you're not going to, gain altitude. You're just going to kind of come in, hover, shoot your ordnance, and then go. So the last thing you see there in the document is going to be a wild weasel. Never, ever, ever will you do a wild weasel. Our aircraft don't go fast enough to do that. So the purpose of a wild weasel is you really need 2 aircraft to do it properly. The first aircraft acts as a target for enemy to shoot at, and then the second aircraft will follow behind, waiting for someone to engage the first aircraft, and then they themselves will then attack that threat. So you'll never see a wild weasel done the proper way in our unit, and you'll never do it as a rotary aircraft. But just to know, you will hear a request for wild weasel, and it's almost exclusively going to go to Thunder. So when that happens, that's a good opportunity to kind of look at their flight path and see if anything potentially engages them as they fly over.
Okay, copy that.
All right, pretty simple. The next is defensive maneuvers. You will use all 3 of these at some point. More so jinking than the other 2. Evade and retreat and evade and pursue really have to do with air-to-air threats. And the big difference is what you do after you've evaded. So the primary evasion technique is, they're going to be behind you. You're going to pull up on the nose, give it full collective. And it's essentially going to cause like a rapid increase in elevation and a rapid braking action. And the idea is that the pursuer ends up flying past you. And depending on the aircraft you're in, if you have the capability to retaliate, then evade and pursue might be an option. Otherwise, you're almost always going to do an evade and retreat. So in this instance, if you're evading and retreating, the pursuer has flown past you, you're going to do a quick 180 and get out of there. With the evade and pursue, your whole point, the whole goal of this is to get behind the enemy aircraft. And keep in mind that if they're a skilled pilot, they also have these same techniques that they can use. So it could end up not working in your favor. And the last one is jinking. Jinking is just erratic flight, altitude, flight path as you're going through there. It's not necessarily fast. It's just a abrupt change in speed, direction, altitude, and turns, all that stuff. So jinking is a good option, potentially if you're also being engaged with AA missiles, especially if you have a lot of terrain that you can put between you and the attacker. Do you have any questions about attack or defensive maneuvers?
Negative.
All right, so now we're going to move on to the PID. If you would, go ahead and follow me. All right, go ahead and take this to mic 2 start. Let's see if he selects the right one. Oh, he did. Look at that.
Look at that. He's not totally retarded.
Give me 1 second, please. All right. If you want to come over this way. Here we've got our bog standard T-72 tank. Pretty awesome. Moving on.
From a distance.
Yeah. All right, so this next one is the BTR-60.
Just over here playing Vanna White, don't mind me.
The one he's standing by right now is your BTR-70. And this BTR here is a BTR-80. And then the worst one of them all is your BTR-80 Alpha. So the thing to note about the Alpha is it does have the capability to shoot a wire-guided rocket at you. So there'll be no indication whatsoever that you're being shot at until you get hit. So you got to be careful with the Alpha variant. And of course, with the 80, they do have that main gun on the top that is actually pretty devastating to, to infantry. Do you have any questions about BTRs and the T-72?
Negative. Just a matter of seeing them enough so that I can identify them. Like the differences between the 60, 70, and 80. The BTR 80 Alpha, it's got that bigger gun, so it's a little easier to recognize. But just differentiating between the other three is just a matter of seeing them enough, I guess.
Yeah, I mean they are pretty similar, but they do have slight differences. For example, the BTR 70 there has like the little spotlight, whereas the BTR 80 does not. The BTR 60 again has the spotlight, but has a different gun. So I mean, it just takes. I mean, for your purposes, I mean, you can just call it out as BTR. The big thing that we do want you to be able to distinguish is the 80 Alpha. So once you see the 80 Alpha with additional, one, the turret sits up a little higher, but it's also got that pod on there for the rocket. So if you do see that, we want to make sure that we call that out.
Okay, Roger.
All right, moving on. All right, and here we have our BMP-1 and the other variants. So BMP-2 with the little yellow rocket pod on the top. And then you have your BMP-3, which kind of looks like a tank. So don't call it a tank when you're in the air. Try to make sure you distinguish the BMP-3 from an MBT as much as possible. And do know that these are both amphibious and land vehicles, so they can't travel in water.
Okay, copy. It's more blocky than the MBT.
Right.
Okay, copy that.
Right, and it does have features that make it a little bit more suitable to operating in water. Okay.
Also, keep in mind with the BMP-2 in the center, that's also one of the ones with the ATGM that when AI controlled, they like to show off and fire it at us, and they will fucking connect it from many clicks out. So.
Okay.
I believe that's wire guided, correct?
A-firm, yep. Yeah, it's the Russian equivalent of a TOW.
So basically, as far as threat level goes, the BMP-2 and the BTR-80 are 80 Alpha are very similar as far as threat to our airframes.
I would say so. It's more of being cognizant of it and just keeping an eye on it. Because a lot of our ability to react to it is going to come from basically you spotting it as the gunner, just kind of like looking through the camera and then like calling out to the pilot like evade, and then I'll basically just immediately like reactively dump flares or chaff or whatever and jink off to the side. So
okay, copy.
But it's Zeus should know at this point. They've been a little bit more liberal with their deployment lately of these, but they should know that when these get put into the AO and they have an ATGM on there, the AI likes to take that and do crazy shit with it. So,
gotcha.
As soon as they get an opportunity, they'll shoot.
Okay, Chief.
All right, moving on. Do you know what the difference is between these two vehicles here?
Yes, the one on the left is a gas gun truck, purpose-built gun truck, and the one on the right is a technical.
Perfect. All right, yeah. Don't call a gas a technical. It'll get you in trouble. Big difference between a technical and a gun truck.
Roger.
Sorry,
that.
Mr. Lane, what were you saying?
I think he's oogling the the armor sitting out there.
All All right, moving on. All right. These are your primary threats to the aircraft, starting with the one on the left here, the Tunguska. Big key indicator here is obviously the twirling radar dish on the top. But additionally, you'll see that it has 8 AA rockets there on the top that it can shoot at you, in addition to the AA guns that are on the inside of those rockets. Moving over to the Shilka here, which is a ZSU-23. Again, distinguishing radar. This one does not move, so it's going to be an AA type asset. And the only thing that it has is those AA guns. Mr. Lane, if you want, you can get in and demonstrate what that sounds like.
Roger that.
It does have quite a rapid rate of fire. Pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Now, the Tunguska has the same thing, but they're just on the other side. So the ZSU cannon is not as big of a threat as the Tunguska is, simply because it's just the guns there, whereas the Tunguska actually has guided rockets.
Copy
Right,
that.
So me personally, I don't think these are the most severe threat to our aircraft. I actually think that these two here are the most severe threat to our aircraft. So one is the AT soldier here. You'll see that he's got that rocket or tube on the back. And this tube is the same tubes that you see to your rear on the Iglet chair. Those are reloadable, so it's not just one shot. They can put additional rounds in there and continue firing. So the reason I say these are almost more of a threat to the aircraft is because you don't know they're there. You'll just see them shoot, and you'll see their missile, coming at you. Whereas the other, the Tunguska, you can actually get it on a radar, typically long before they shoot a missile at you.
Are these what's referred to as man pads?
Correct.
Copy. Does that include the Iglet chair, or is that just the man pad is just the infantry soldier with the shoulder fired?
Typically, we make a distinction between the two. So the Iglet chair is very distinct. We know what that looks like, and then the man pad was typically referring to the soldier.
Okay, copy.
Any questions about the AA threat, or Mr. Lane? You got something?
Easy distinguishing there. Whatever, they might both be the same weapon system. It could either be an Igla that's being carried by the individual infantry soldier, or it could be the earlier made Strela. But at the end of the day, it's when someone's referring to man pads, they're referring to actual man portable, the man portability of capability of that weapon system. Even though technically, 2 Iglas strapped to a dual trigger mechanism is technically still 2 man pads, but they're referring to that's how we separate the two, as we an Igla chair or man pad. So
okay, copy.
Yep. All right, and then to the right of that, you have the ZU-23 cannon. Again, very similar to the ZSU, just the big difference is this is a static emplacement. You can move it, but it takes a significant amount of time to move around. Again, if you want to go ahead and fire that, Mr. Lane, you can just see the difference. These are actually quite a big threat to the infantry on the ground, because there's nothing that stops them from using this against friendly troops. So again, if you see these cannons and you see troops getting near them, make sure you call that out.
Okay, copy. My question for you is, I've heard of people talking about Zeus cannons. Which one of these is a Zeus cannon?
So that's this one right here. This can also be mounted in the back of a Ural. Same deal. So it's going to be this particular variant of the cannon. The other one, since the Shilka, we just call it a Shilka. It's not a Zeus cannon. So you're going to see this either in this form or mounted in the back of a Ural.
Okay, copy.
ISIS tried putting them in the back of the trucks, and they kept killing their own guys, so they stopped doing it.
That's too bad.
Too bad. They should have kept doing it.
Yeah. Right.
All right, moving on. Oh, man. All right, so this thing is a particularly interesting beast. This is the 2 Sierra 25 tank killer. So this, we don't really see it very often. Just know that it is used to track and kill other tanks. So I mean, it's kind of like a more extreme variant of main battle tank, but with one particular goal in mind.
Okay, copy.
I always had tank destroyers, as they're commonly referred to, basically described as like glass cannon MBTs. They're upped firepower and kind of upped mobility, but trade a lot of the armor that a main battle tank has. So
there you go.
Okay, copy.
The tank destroyer. All right, moving on to air assets. All right, so this is the KA-52. The big way you can tell the KA-52 is obviously the type of rotors that it has. As you can see, it's got 2 sets of counter-rotating rotors that permit flight. In addition, this bird does not have a rear anti-torque rotor. Since those 2 blades are counter-rotating, they don't have to have that additional blade in the back. There are a couple advantages of having 2 counter-rotating blades. One is increased lift capacity and maneuverability. As you can see, it's got the same number of pylons as our Apache, but it can carry a lot heavier payload.
Roger that.
Yeah, so if you see one of these, it's going to be a priority target for you.
Do these carry air-to-air missiles also?
I believe so, yes.
They are capable of carrying both the Igla or the Strela variants of the manpads.
Okay, copy.
This next one here is the KA-60. Blah, blah, blah. If I could talk, holy crap. This is the most vanilla variant that there is. There are other variants with pylons on them that can carry weapon systems, and it's quite varied on what it can carry, but it can also carry troops in it as well.
For practice's sake, if you ever want a really, really twitchy aircraft to work on your fine flight controls or whatever, I recommend the Kasatka, the KA-60. Super, super twitchy, very finicky, very sensitive aircraft.
Okay, that's good enough.
All right, moving on. All right, here you have the Mi-8 HIP. It is mostly a troop transport, but again, they can mount pylons on it and use it for a air-to-air, air-to-ground role, but mostly used for troop transport. So this is typically, we just refer to it as a HIP, and usually it's low threat to our rotary assets.
Okay, copy.
Yes. Yeah, all right. All right, now the next one. So this is the Mi-24 Hind. Pretty decent threat to our aircraft. Again, it can be used to transport troops, which is a common theme among most of the rotary aircraft that they have. And again, it has quite the varied array of weapon systems that it can carry. And again, it can carry those AA assets as previously mentioned.
Copy.
And our last one here. This is the Su-25 Frogfoot. As you can see, it has a whole lot of pylons to put shit onto. And again, it's an AA threat, or air-to-air threat. So we want to prioritize this guy as much as possible. And we typically just call, these fast movers, or you can just call the Frogfoot. Either one is acceptable.
Okay, copy.
All right. Do you have any questions about PID?
Negative.
All right. If you would want to go ahead and take the flag, take it back to Mike 3.
Come on.
All right. I was wondering if you had it or something.
Yeah, it kept disappearing on me.
Oh, weird. All right. And last little section here before we get to flying is the evasion equipment / tactics. All the equipment you should already have set out in your loadout. Just keep in mind, because we're aviators, we're not necessarily going to have the option to call a medic over here. We do typically carry a little bit more in terms of bandages. We do carry epinephrine and morphine in addition to what the typical loadout is going to be for an infantry soldier. And then, of course, variations of grenades, smoke, and frag stuns, and IR. We also do carry the green handheld signal. Again, depending on the environment that you're operating in, it gives us better options in terms of if we do go down, allowing others to find us.
Copy that.
All right. So if you do find that you do have to make an emergency landing, the very first thing that you're going to make sure you do is call out on 7 and 9. That is our emergency frequency. That an aircraft is having an issue, or we're going to make an emergency landing, and that starts the coordinating phase for recovering pilots. So you're going to call on 7-9, and if you can, maintain communication on 7-9. Just understand that as soon as you hop out of the bird, there's a good chance that that's going to drop out because you're going on short range. So just know that that is there.
Okay.
All right. All right. And, kind of like we mentioned earlier, you do have the smoke grenades that can provide some concealment for you as you get out of the bird, depending on, the enemy threat at the time. And then the signals and IR grenades, can be used to guide friendly forces into your position. We already talked about CLS and all right. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and give you a threat brief here for the Littlebird, and then you're going to go ahead and set that up. So threat. I can't speak, man. Sorry.
That's okay.
All right. So there's no AA threat for this first. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second.
Sure.
Sorry about that. All right, so your threat brief is all going to be light infantry, lightly armored vehicles, no AA threat. There will be some small arms threat, but nothing too crazy. So with that in mind, go ahead and set up your Littlebird, and then we'll start getting you called in on your cast run there for the Littlebird.
Okay, copy.
All right, is he ready to go? Chief, you're good. Is he ready to go, or? Okay, understood. Where did everybody go? Where'd they go? Two three to 2-1 on 7.1.1.
Gravity Air Base, this is Lancer 2-3 signing on 7-5, spooling at Mike 3 helicopter parking. Gravity Air Base, Lancer 2-3, lifting from Mike 3 helicopter parking for direct departure to the north. Gravity Air Base, Lancer 2-3, signing off 7-5. Good day. Dagger, this is Lancer 2-3, signing on 7-0. Ready for cash check-in.
Lancer 2-3, this is Dagger on 7-0. Copy, signing out on 7-0. Ready for cash check-in. Send when ready.
Dagger, this is Lancer 2-3, 1x age 60 Littlebird, currently 2 kilometers south of Bullseye at Cherub 3. I am full on the guns, and I have 38 Hydra rockets, 95% in bleeding for a playtime of 0 plus 60 minutes. Board code is abort. How copy?
Lancer 2-3, Dagger 7-0, have you 1x age 6 Apache, Lancer, 1x age 6 Littlebird, call sign Lancer, 2 kilometers south, Bullseye at Cherub 3. Got a full load on the gun with 38 times Hydra rockets. You are at 95% bleeding with a playtime of 0 plus 60 mics. Abort code is abort. Interrogative, what is your capabilities, and for your gun, what gun do you have? Over.
Capabilities, I am a solo pilot, so I am not laser DCS or FAC capable, and I currently have the brake. I currently have the 2x Mike 134 guns with 6,000 rounds over.
Copy, Lancer 2-3. I have 6K M134 and no additional capabilities. Have you ready for work on 7-0? Stand by.
Copy, standing by.
Lancer 2-3, Dagger on 7-0.
Send it.
Lancer 2-3, Dagger, push to Battle Point Echo and stand by for 5 line cast.
Copy, pushing to Battle Point Echo. Dagger, this is Lancer 7-0.
Lancers, Dagger 7-0, send traffic.
Holding at Battle Point Echo.
Copy, Lancers, stand by for 5 line.
Standing by.
Dagger, Lancer, it's going to be Type 3 control. Friendlies 100 meters east of target area. Grid reference 164202. Target is a 3-vehicle convoy, including 1 Ural, 1 Jeep, and 1 unidentified vehicle. You are cleared rockets and guns. Ingress east, egress west. Stand by for reback.
Dagger, Lancer, I have Type 3 control. Friendlies are 100 meters to the east. Target location 164202. Convoy of 3 times vehicles, 1 Ural, 1 Jeep, and 1 unknown. Ingress from the east. Egress to the west. Interrogative, guns and rockets. How copy?
Lancer, Dagger, your readback is good. Will pop green smoke, our location, 30 seconds. We have moved in parallel with the ASR. We are directly east of the targets. They have passed our location.
164202. Copy that. Lancer's inbound. 30 seconds.
Copy, Lancer, continue.
Dagger, this is Lancer. Tally your green smoke and tally vehicles.
Copy, Dagger, you are clear to engage. Disregard, copy, Lancer, you are clear to engage all targets west of green smoke.
Copy. Don't. Dagger, this is Lancer back up on 7-0. Same loadout as before.
Lancer, Dagger, 7-0, copy all, back up on 7-0. Same loadout as before, stand by for work on 7-0.
Copy. Fucking unreal. Cannot believe I did that.
Lancer, Dagger on 7-0, stand by for 5 line.
Dagger, Lancer, standing by for 5 line.
Copy, Lancer, 5 line is as follows. The Type 2 control, friendlies 100 meters east of target location. Grid reference 164202. It's going to be a convoy of 3 times vehicles, including 1 times your all, 1 times general purpose vehicle. Infantry is in the open. Ingress southeast, egress northwest. Friendlies are 100 meters south. This will be a danger close fire mission, Type 2 control.
Copy, Dagger, Lancer, read back. Type 2 control, friendlies 100 meters to the east. Target location 164202. 3 times vehicles, including 1 times Ural and 1 times general vehicle. Tango's in the open. Ingress from the southeast. Egress to the northwest. Danger close. How copy?
Lancer, Dagger, 7-0, your readback is good. Advise on 30 seconds out. We'll mark targets with red smoke. How copy?
Solid copy. Will advise 30 seconds out. Alright, you fucking idiot. Let's try this again, shall we? Dagger, Lancer, 30 seconds out.
Copy, Lancer. Red smoke is marked the westernmost vehicle of the convoy.
Copy, tally, red smoke, inbound. Dagger, tally vehicles.
Copy, Lancer. Continue. You are cleared hot.
Copy, cleared hot. Dagger, rifle. Dagger, Lancer, I believe I struck 2 vehicles, unsure of BDA. I'm going to swing around for another pass.
A firm, Lancer. You got 2 out of 3 confirmed re-attack. Push IP Sierra and re-attack from the south.
Copy, push IP Sierra, re-attack from the south.
Correction, that's going to be Battle Point Sierra, not IP Sierra.
Copy, Battle Point Sierra. Dagger Lancer 7-0, reach battle points Sierra, turning for ingress.
Copy, Lancer, battle point Sierra, continue from battle point Sierra north towards target, break. Remaining targets are marked by red smoke. You are cleared hot once you have eyes on.
Copy, tally, red smoke.
Copy, tally, red smoke, you are cleared hot.
Dagger Lancer rifle.
Lancer, dagger, cast complete. Push to battle point Echo and standby.
Copy, cast complete, pushing to battle point Echo.
Correction, Lancer, you are cleared to RTB to Gravia.
Copy, RTB. Dagger, this is Lancer signing off 7-0. Good day. Gravity Air Base, this is Lancer 2-3 signing on 7-0, approaching from the northeast. Gravity Air Base, Lancer 2-3 on direct final for, correction on final for direct Mike 3 helicopter parking. Apparently, I've completely lost my mind tonight.
Give me 1 second.
Fuck! I cannot believe I just did that.
what happened there with that first one?
The first one was just I got overeager, and instead of pulling back to do a second pass, I tried to squeeze off one more rocket, and then realized I was coming in way too hot. I tried to pull back and correct myself and just controlled flight into terrain.
Okay, just remember, like we talked about that tunnel vision.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened there. And I realized it as soon as it happened. I was coming in, and I had a good sight on all three targets. Fired off my first two missiles, and was going to try and punch off one more. And it just, yeah, that was 100% tunnel vision here. This last thing here was a complete abortion. I was coming in, and I tried to make an adjustment to go backwards to land on the pad, and somehow or another I ended up with the front of my skids down, and instead of just pulling back on the collective, I tried to cyclic it and flipped it right over.
Okay. Just don't let it happen again, okay?
Affirm.
All right, yeah, just take a breather, relax. And if you need a little extra time to do something, then take it. I'd rather see you do that than crash birds, okay?
Affirm.
All right. So here's your threat brief for the next couple of exercises. There is going to be AA threats. You will have armored targets. You will have light targets. And then you will have targets that are in between.
Copy that.
Do you have any questions about threats?
Negative.
Okay. On this first one, you're going to be in the gunner seat. I'll pilot for you, and then we'll get you into the AO. You're going to do, the check-in and all that good stuff, and then you're going to start doing the recon piece, and then we're going to get you in on some CAS. Okay.
Okay. Copy that.
All right. Go ahead and start setting up your bird, and then let me know when you're ready.
Okay. Okay, Chief, I'm ready when you are.
All right, give us just a second. We're trying to prep the AO here, and then once we're good, I'll let you know.
Affirm.
works. Assume this is the one you set up.
Affirm. Master safe on.
All right. Stand by just a second.
Copy.
I'm going to be right back.
Okay.
Radio check on 70.
Loud and clear, 70.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
This is Phoenix 2-1, 1x AH-64 Apache Guardian signing on frequency 75. Shows pooling at Hilo Parking. Mike 3. Good, Airbase. This is Warlord, frequency 75. Show lifting from Hilo Parking for direct departure to the east. Over.
Alright, here we go.
Copy.
Good, Airbase. This is Warlord, crossing active runways 22 right and 22 left. Greywood, this is Warlord, clear active runways.
Alright, let's get some altitude here. Got eyes on bullseye.
A firm.
Greywood Airbase, this is Warlord, signing off frequency 75. Have a good day.
Dagger, this is Warlord signing on 70, ready for cast check-in.
Warlord, this is Dagger on 70. Have you loud and clear? Break. Ready for your cast check-in.
Dagger, this is Warlord, 1x age 64 Echo Apache Guardian. We are currently 4.9 kilometers southwest of Bullseye at Angels 2. We are full on the guns, 8 Hellfire Kilos, 4 Hellfire Limas, 16 Daggers, 2 AIM-9 Sidewinders. We are laser DCS capable. We are 95% in bleeding on fuel for a playtime of 0 + 120 minutes. Abort code is abort. How copy?
Warlord Dagger 70, I have your cast check-in is as follows. 1x age 64 Echo Guardian Apache, call sign Warlord. You are 4.9 kilometers southwest of Bullseye at Angels 2. Today we have a full load on the guns with 8x Kilo AGM 114 Hellfires, 4x Lima AGM 114 Hellfires, 16 Daggers, 2 AIM-9X Sidewinders. Your fuel cap is 95% and bleeding for a playtime of 120 mics. Your abort code is abort. You are laser and DCS capable.
Dagger Warlord, solid copy. Standing by to begin ISR.
Warlord Dagger, solid copy. Initiate ISR in reference to Bullseye. Stand by for grid.
Copy, standing by.
Warlord Dagger 70, reference Bullseye 208168. Conduct ISR in and around the area around the Bullseye.
Copy, I read back. Bullseye 208168. Conduct ISR in and around Bullseye.
Copy, Warlord, break. Before we begin ISR, I want to confirm that you have eyes on my position. Reference military cargo tower to the south of Bullseye. Correction, that's going to be to the southeast of Bullseye, approximately. It's going to be half a click from the town center.
Copy, standby. Where the hell are you?
Around.
Yeah, I'm trying to find his tower. I can't seem to locate it.
Can you ask him for a grid?
Dagger, this is Warlord. Interrogative. Can you give me a grid location on your tower? I'm unable to see it on camera. Disregard. I have your tower at 212165.
Warlord Dagger 70 confirmed. Grid is good. You have eyes on. Begin ISR. Do not proceed into the town. Maintain ISR out to the eyes on. Work your way south, then north.
Copy. Beginning ISR. We'll work our way south to north. Will not enter town. 210170. That is 210170. 210170. Enemy salute. Motorized, singular, stationary. 0910. Gas. Oh, 208168 is going to be 2 times BTR 208168. 208168. Enemy salute. Motorized infantry. Patrol. Stationary. 0911. EMP. How many he threw out here for me? Look, where the hell am I? Stop doing that. What I got going on there? 209168. Looks to be 209168. 209168. Looks like it's kind of in this area here. Armor, singular, stationary, 0913. 1 times MBT, we'll say. Oh, Tunguska moving. Two oh nine 169. Dagger, this is Warlord. Break. You have 1 times Tunguska. It was on the move. It is now stationary. Grid is 209168. 209168. How copy?
Copy, Dagger. Copy, Warlord. I have eyes on Tunguska at grid 209168. Break. Stand by for lays.
Copy, standing by. Copy, standing by. Are you fucking kidding me?
Warlord Dagger 70, unable to visually confirm Tunguska. Break. Stand by for 5 line.
Copy, standing by for 5 line. Okay, I didn't change anything that I'm aware of, and apparently all that I have control over is my Lima Hellfires. I can't pull up my kilos.
You can't cycle through with F.
Yeah, I'm cycling through with F right now, and it's...
back. We're taking a launch. Three missiles.
Warlord, this is Dagger. Dagger, this is Warlord. We're evading.
Alright, we took 1 hit. We're good.
Copy, Warlord. You are evasive time now.
Alright, we need to take that out.
Dagger, be advised, we did take a hit. We are still operational. Stand by.
Yeah, see if you can't hit it with that Lima. Should be able to try and lock on.
F1.
Warning, sync rate.
F2.
Come on.
Okay, I have a lock on the Tunguska.
Hang on. There. It keeps pinging me.
Okay, copy.
See if I can't get this rotation
Dagger, this is
around.
Warlord.
Warlord Dagger, set traffic.
Alright, whenever you're ready.
Be advised, I have a lock on with a Lima Hellfire. I'm not able to pull up my kilos at the moment.
Copy, Dagger. Copy, Warlord. I still do not have eyes on. You are clear Type 3 control on that Tunguska. Go ahead and take it out by any means.
Copy, rifle.
Dagger copies rifle.
Splash. Dagger, be advised, I'm still showing that Tunguska on our radar. I do not see a secondary. I'm going to re-engage.
Do you need me to move somewhere to get a better shot?
Yeah, A-firm. If you can swing to your right.
Until that Tunguska is destroyed, break. We are hearing autocannon fire on the, looks to be the west side of the town. Break.
Yeah, we're pretty fucked up
You
here.
are clear to engage as necessary. Over.
Are you good?
Warning,
Yep.
sync rate.
I'm up.
Hang on here.
Warning,
Copy. Be
sync
advised,
rate.
we took another hit. We're going to attempt to try and re-engage again.
Alright, this is gonna be awkward.
Copy, Warlord.
This thing's not wanting to give me control here.
Yeah, I can tell how hard you're fighting it. Did we lose our anti-torque?
Not completely. But something weird is going on. I don't know why it's fighting me like that.
Warlord Dagger 70, interrogative, what's the status on that Tunguska? Over.
Be advised, we are trying to correct. Our aircraft is fighting us at the moment. We have not had a chance to re-engage yet. Tunguska is still up and active.
All right, here's what we're gonna do. All right, so we're gonna go to the south, and then I'm gonna make a turn to the north, and as soon as you get a lock on the Tunguska, I need you to take it out.
Okay, copy.
All right, we're gonna start turning north.
.8 kilometers out.
All right. All right, once we get to about 5 or so, then you should be good to engage.
Okay, copy. I have solid lock. Warlord, Dagger Warlord rifle. I got a good sight picture on him right now. Hopefully we can hit this fucker.
Okay. Let me know if it goes critical or not.
Will do.
Break off to the right. Is east. Oh, come on. Critical.
Looks like a good hit. Critical. Dagger, this is Warlord. Be advised, critical hit on Tunguska. Tunguska is knocked out.
Alright, what do you got available for armament?
Copy, Dagger. Disregard.
I'm showing
Copy,
two
Warlord. I have eyes on one smoke plume in the center of the town. I'm guessing that's you, so good work.
Hellfire Limas,
Recommend you push
16
ISR to the
daggers.
west side of town. Possible.
and
Disregard.
guns.
Alright. So save your Limas for the heavy stuff out there.
Okay, copy. Warlord Dagger, this is Warlord interrogative. Did you advise push ISR to the west side of town?
A firm, Warlord. I got reports of one-times BTR in the area, along with other possible infantry patrols and scattered motorized and mechanized troops
208-168.
throughout the city. Great.
208-168.
Also reports of scattered armor throughout the town as well. Please advise. Over.
Dagger Warlord, copy, will advise. Dagger, this is Warlord. I have some spot targets for you when you're ready to copy.
Warlord Dagger, standing by to copy. Eyes on targets.
Copy. Reference Red 4 marker 0910. 0911, break. Uh, 0910, 1 times gas, 1 times gas gun truck. 0911, 2 times BMPs, was stationary, break. Reference marker 0913, 1 time MBT, main battle tank, break. And reference 0924, 1 time stationary BMP. How copy?
Negative copy, Warlord. Repeat your entire ISR again. Over.
Copy, standby 1. Dagger Warlord, reference Red 4 marker 0910, grid 210170, had 1 times gas gun truck, break. Marker 0911, grid 208168, 2 times stationary BMPs, break. 09er13, grid reference 209168, 1 times main battle tank, break. And 0924, grid reference 208168, 1 times BMP. How copy?
Copy all. Copy all, Warlord. Stand by for 5 line.
Copy, standing by.
Warlord Dagger 5 line is as follows. It's going to be Type 2 control. Friendly forces half a click to the south. The reference target is a T-90 with a nearby BMP-1 break. Target is going to be approximately 100 meters, maybe 50 meters southwest of Bullseye. Ordnance, your description. Neutralize both targets.
Dagger Warlord, I copy. Type 2 control, ordnance, my discretion. Friendlies 0.5 kilometers south of target. Target location is 100 meters southwest of Bullseye. Target description is 1 T-90 tank and 1 BMP-1. How copy?
Warlord Dagger, readback is good. Advise when ordnance is loose. Attempt to confirm BDA if you can. I do not have eyes breaking. Still getting sporadic fire from the west side of town, break.
Yeah, let's shoot that up.
Be advised, I have 1 times BTR-80 Alpha on the west side of town. You are cleared Type 3 control on that BTR-80 Alpha.
Stand by. We gotta get us back into position.
Copy. BTR-80 Alpha, west side of town. Do you have a grid or a red force marker?
Negative, Warlord. It's going to be the westernmost target in the group of town. Anything behind that is going to be disregarded. It's still going to be the westernmost target. Basically in the open, reference north of the gas station, approximately 100 meters.
It's 3.6 clicks off our nose.
Okay, copy.
It should be marked red on your sense screen. It's 4 clicks out. See it?
I see it on the sense screen. I'm looking for it right now.
Cycle through your radar to find it.
Warlord Dagger, its status on that BTR.
Stand by. Dagger Warlord rifle.
Copy, Warlord rifle. Tracking.
Dagger Warlord splash.
Warlord, this is Dagger on 7-0. I have confirmed terminal detonation of 1 times target on the western side of town. Break. Can you confirm that is the BTR-80 Alpha? Over.
Be advised, I do have radar lock on that target, and I can confirm that was the BTR-80 Alpha.
Copy, Warlord. Break. Stand by for 5 line.
Copy, standing by.
Target, Type 2 control. Friendlies, half a click south. Grid is going to be 168209, keypad 7. 1 times T90 Alpha. At the crossroads there, center of town, approximately 100 meters southwest of Bullseye. Break. Ordnance your discretion, ingress, egress as necessary.
Dagger, I copy Type 2 control, ordnance my discretion, friendlies 0.5 kilometers south. Target grid is 168209, keypad 7, T90 Alpha at the crossroads, 100 meters southwest of Bullseye, ingress, egress, our discretion. Uh, 168...
Warlord Dagger, correction on last is going to be grid reference 209168. Had our X and Y mixed up.
Roger, 209168.
Copy, confirm, call contact when you have eyes on. You will be cleared hot after.
Wilco.
Let me know when you're ready to rifle. Whatever it was that he was telling you to do. I wasn't listening, my bad.
That's okay. He's hidden behind some buildings. If you can maybe swing more to the north, I'll see if that opens him up.
What's the target?
T90 Alpha.
Okay. This is the last Lima you got?
Affirm.
Okay.
Dagger Warlord, be advised, I have no joy from my position. We are trying to move to a better vantage point.
Copy, Warlord. Reference Bullseye, Church, center of town. Just south of that, there's going to be a like crossroads with.
Okay, I got him. If you can maybe hold here and turn in towards.
Yep. All right, should be good.
Affirm rifle.
Copy, rifle.
Dagger Warlord splash. Catastrophic.
Copy, Warlord. Good work. Stand by for 5 line.
Copy. Dagger, be advised, we are whiskey on Limas. Our only ordnance now are daggers.
And guns. You got guns still.
And
Copy,
guns.
Warlord. 5 line is as follows. Stand by. Warlord, Dagger 7-0, stand by for 5 line.
Copy, standing by.
Type 3 control, friendlies half a click southwest. Targets are going to be 2 times BTRs, 1 times GAZ gun truck. It's going to be at the crossroads directly east of your previous target at grid 210168, top of keypad 7. It's going to be an offset 4-way there. The north side of the road is just to the east side of the 3-way that's right below it. You got 2 targets on the south side, 1 target on the northern ASR. Call contact once you have eyes on.
Copy, I have type 3 control, friendlies 0.5 kilometers southwest of grid 210168, top of keypad number 7, 2 times BTR, 1 times gas in the crossroads. How copy?
Copy, your readback is good. Break. Call contact once you have eyes on.
Copy, Dagger. I have eyes on. Break. I also have eyes on Ural and what appears to be a tank destroyer just to the... It appears to be just to the... maybe east of the target location, so I have 5 vehicles total in that vicinity.
Copy, Warlord. I have eyes on. Break. Reconfigure target package. It's going to be 1 times BM21. It's going to be the easternmost cluster of vehicles in that 5 vehicle cluster. Break. Follow or advise when you tell him my lays. Over. Be advised, lays is hot.
Copy. Lays is hot. I have no tally on your lays. Stand by. Can you swing me a little more to the north?
Yeah. Should be able to see it.
Warlord Dagger, be advised, my laser is going to be on the southern side. If you tally the lays on sensor, advise.
Affirm, I tally lays.
Copy, Warlord. Go ahead and adjust as necessary. You are clear to engage. Break. Disregard, you are cleared hot on that BM-21.
Copy. Cleared hot with Dagger. Rifle 2.
Copy, Rifle 2. Warlord Dagger 7-0.
Send it.
I had audible on premature detonation, possibly from ordnance. Might have been a miss there. Break. If you are in range and you are capable, engage with guns. Time now.
Copy. We are currently 3.3 kilometers out.
We'll get in there.
Copy. Either resend one dart or resend one dagger, or go hot with guns.
Copy. We are creeping in for guns.
Copy. Lays is hot on BM-21. Break. Call when you are 30 seconds out. We'll advise further.
Copy. We are 30 seconds out.
Copy. Continue. You are clear to engage.
Copy. Guns, guns, guns.
Could be 100 over 100 on 1 times BTR. Break. Got 1 times BTR 60 moving west on the MSR, or transitioning onto the MSR, moving west from its previous position to that 3 cluster.
Affirm, my tally.
Copy. Light it up.
Copy. Guns, guns, guns.
Sorry. That was my fault.
That's okay.
Alright, should be good again.
I lost him behind trees. Dagger, be advised, I have lost the BTR behind some trees. We're going to reposition.
Copy. Break. Disregard the BTR. We need that BM-21 grad at the previous target cluster to the southeast of the town. And need that dead now. Over.
Copy. Advise again, target.
Target is going to be 1 times BM-21 grad. It's going to be at grid reference 210168, keypad 8.
210168.
Correction on grid is going to be 210169, keypad 2.
Copy, have tally.
Copy, you are cleared hot on BM-21. As well as any infantry in the proximity, over.
Affirm. Lays hot. Dagger rifle 2. Good hit, still up. Rifle 2 more.
Warlord Dagger 70, confirm you are hitting the BM-21 and not the tank, over.
Shit. Copy. Hitting the BM-21 and not the tank. Fuck, where the hell's the tank? T80. The BM-20, that's the truck with the rocket launcher on it, correct?
Correct. BM-21.
Okay, copy. Dagger, I've re-engaged, have tally, and am I clear hot?
A firm, BM-21 needs to be gone, over.
Copy. Rifle 2.
Copy, rifle 2.
God damn it.
100 over 100, Warlord. Break.
Mayday, mayday, mayday. This is Warlord. We've taken a main rotor hit.
Warning. Sink rate.
We still got some power here. We're good.
Dagger, be advised, we did take a main rotor hit. We are still under power at the moment.
Copy, Warlord. Break. Are you able to remain on station, over?
What do you think, Chief?
Normally I would say no.
Dagger, be advised, not at the moment. We're going to probably have to RTB.
Copy, Warlord. RTB.
Warlord signing off 7-0.
Copy, everybody. This is Warlord. 1x86 Square Patch signing off frequency 75. We advise we're inbound versus procedure to Mike 3, Helo Parking.
Warlord Dagger, be advised you never sign off 7-0. Over.
Copy.
Assist Warlord on the deck. Spooling down, signing off, bring set 5.
Alright, go ahead and hop out.
Copy.
Alright, let's check out this loadout.
Yeah, they're like all attached to the pilot now, but I'm telling you that I had everything. I have it on my stream. I had everything set to the gunner, and the only thing that I changed out was I got rid of the Novembers and took I think 1 extra kilo. That's all that I changed out. So I have no idea how they got all switched to the pilot.
Yeah, because actually I didn't have any ability to use any of that stuff either. So it's probably just one of those ArmA things.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, it's all good. Go ahead and fix it up real quick, and then I'll be right back. Hey.
Yep.
Hey. Come here.
Yep.
What the actual fuck? Oh, great. Here we go. Okay, Chief, I have changed it 4 times. I've saved it, I've applied it, I've loaded it, and every time I go back in there, all the weapons are set to the pilot.
Let me see. They sure are. Okay, should be good now. That's one of those weird little nuances about rearming. That happens. You just gotta empty out all the bonds, then reconfigure, and then rearm.
Okay, copy. That was the only thing after I saw you do it. The only thing I didn't do was empty it and then redo it.
Yeah, it's kind of a pain, but it should be good to go. All right, so Mr. Chief Lane. All right, so what's going to happen now is Chief Lane is going to be your gunner. You're going to pilot for him. It's going to be the same AO. So it's going to be, this is your piloting time, and then we're going to transition into the last 2 bits of this exercise, and then that'll be it.
Okay, copy.
All right, so whenever you guys are ready, just go ahead and take off. And then, Chief Lane, what was the consensus on Dagger?
I am not. I am piloted up right now, so.
Okay,
negative on Dagger, standard radios.
Okay, I will do my best. All right, well, it's all you guys.
Okay.
Oh, hey, Edwards.
Yes, Chief.
Just understand that Lane will. All right, hang on, stand by.
So you got back out. Just understand that Lane will give you limited information going forward, okay?
Understood. Gravity Air Base, this is Warlord signing on 7-5, spooling up at Mike 3 helicopter parking.
All right, let's do this.
Sounds good. Gravity Air Base, this is Warlord lifting from Mike 3 helicopter parking for direct departure to the northeast.
Hey, station, this net. This is Dagger on 70. Radio check over.
Dagger, this is Warlord. I have you.
Gravity Air Base, this is Warlord crossing active runways 22 right, 22 left. Gravity Air Base, Warlord, clear active runways. Gravity Air Base, this is Warlord signing off 7-5. Good day.
You got the sidewinders, right?
A-firm.
Alright, also make sure controls are unlocked, just in case you drop or anything, so.
Controls are unlocked.
Gotcha, buddy.
Dagger, this is Warlord on 70, signing in.
Warlord, this is Dagger. Good to have you.
Copy, Dagger. Advisement ready for gas check-in.
Send it.
Copy, Dagger. It's going to be 1 times AH-64 Echo Guardian Apache, call sign Warlord. We are 3 kilometers southwest of Bullseye at Angels 1. It's going to be a full load on the guns tonight with a 12 times AGM-114 Hellfires, including 4 kilos, 4 Limas, 4 Novembers, 1-6 Daggers, and 2 AIM-9 X-ray Sidewinders. We are at 95% and bleeding for fuel with a plate time of 0 plus 120 mics. Abort code is Everest. We are laser, DCS, and FAC capable. Standing by for work on 70.
Warlord, copy is as follows. 1 times AH-64 Apache Guardian, 3 kilometers to the southwest of Bullseye at Angels 1. Full load on the guns, who are 12 times total, 1 and 4 Hellfires to include 4 times Kilos, 4 times Limas, 4 times Novembers, 1-6 times Daggers, 2 times AIM, 9X Sidewinders, who are 95% bleeding with a playtime of 120 minutes. Abort code is Everest, you are laser, DCS, and FAC capable.
Dagger, Warlord 70, your readback is good. Standing by for work 70.
Alright, stand by.
Hey, we're getting out of radio range there.
Copy.
Daggers, Warlord, stand by. Reach you 1 by 5.
I was trying not to get too close into
Wasn't
town.
transmitting, but thank you.
That was weird because I heard him too.
Yeah.
Warlord, this dagger, stand by for pipeline.
Dagger, Warlord, standing by for 5 line.
Pipeline is as follows. Type 2 control ordnance at gunner's discretion. Friendlies are 0.43 kilometers to the southeast of the target. Target location is 210169. Description is battle tank. Ingress, egress, your discretion. Copy.
Copy, Warlord. I have your readback for 5 line is as follows. Type 2 control ordnance mine call. Friendlies 0.4 southeast of target. Target reference grid 210169. Target is 1 times MBT. Ingress, egress, pilot's discretion.
Affirm, a solid copy.
Copy, Dagger. Will advise when we tally target will be in from the, looks to be the northwest. It'll be egress out to the southeast.
Let me find our fucking target here. 210-169.
Call 30 seconds.
Damn, man, why am I fucking...
Dagger, Warlord, we are 30 seconds.
Affirm, cleared hot.
Copy, Warlord cleared hot. Warlord, rifle 1.
Copy, rifle.
Warlord, rifle 2. Warlord. Dagger, Warlord 7-0. Looks to be 100 over 100 on that T-80 uniform kilo.
Affirm, solid copy.
Be advised we're going to be out to the east, circling back around to establish racetrack to the north, running counterclockwise.
Solid copy.
Amazing, there's actually some night lights, so I don't have to use fucking useless ass night vision in the gun sight.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because it's really hazy out here. I can barely see anything through my night vision.
Yeah.
Dagger,
Go for Warlord. Or correction, go for Dagger.
Be advised, I still have sporadic infantry contact, approximately half a click, maybe a quarter click northeast of the last target location for that tank. Break. Again, it looks to be about a team, maybe a squad's element size of infantry. Over.
Okay, firm. Disregard now. I got priority target VMP2 for you. Stand by for pipeline.
Warlord standing by for pipeline.
Pipeline is as follows. You have Type 3 control. Ordnance at your discretion. Friendlies are 540 meters to the southwest. Target location is 208168. Keypad 4. It's the intersection there. Target description is BMP2 and BTR 70. Call 30 seconds.
Dagger, Warlord 7-0, read back as follows. Type 3 control. Ordnance mine call. Friendly is 540 meters. Retransmit proximity location, or proximity direction break. Grid reference 208168, keypad 4, at the intersection, 1 times at BMP2, 1 times at BTR 70, ingress, egress, my call, ordnance again, my call, will advise 30 seconds.
Hey, I'm solid, read back.
Alright, let's slow up just a tad here so I can get this, get eyes on this fucker here.
Copy.
208 168, keypad 4. Let's get some altitude and
Dagger, Warlord, we are 30 seconds break.
Different, clear to engage.
Copy, be advised, we still do not tally the target. Interrogative, can you laze over?
Stand by. It's going to be a negative. There's buildings in the way.
Copy, Warlord. Copy, Dagger. Disregard. I have eyes on targets. Break. Warlord, rifle.
Copy, right.
Warlord, rifle.
Copy, right.
Warlord, rifle.
Copy, right.
I'm fucking all over the place with these fuckers.
I know, I'm sorry, I'm trying to hold it.
Alright, pull off and let's get out to the north.
Copy.
Dagger, Warlord, we are off station. Multiple shacks on the target. Negative hits.
Hey, firm. Re-engagement possible.
ground, Warlord, clearing runway 22 left onto taxiway 04. Gravia ground, Warlord, clearing taxiway 04 onto runway 04 left, taxiing to Sierra 7, will advisement off. Gravity ground, Warlord, clear of active 04 left, off at taxiway 07. Clear of all active.
I have never had a disconnect before.
It happens, man. Alright, I am ready when you are, so.
Okay, copy. Be advised, I have whiskey on 89 sidewinders.
Okay. Alright, I'll pass it up.
Dagger, Warlord 70.
Gravity Air Base, this is Warlord.
Go for Dagger.
Lifting from Mike 3 helicopter parking for direct departure to the
Dagger,
east.
be advised, previous armament is going to be the same forecast check-in with exception to A9 X-rays. We are Winchester on X-rays. Over.
Confirm, same. Check-ins last time minus aim. Sidewinders over.
Affirm, we'll advise when we're back over AO.
Gravia, this is Warlord crossing active runways 22 right and 22 left.
Alright, let's try to get a, let's go for a rotation around the, all the battle points. Just use that as kind of your reference for the, actually go a click in from that. So we'll keep a 2-click buffer from the bullseye. That should be good. And then you can either take it clockwise or counterclockwise. Up to you.
Okay, copy. Gravity Air Base, Warlord signing off 7-5. Good day.
Oh, that's why. I have the AIM-9 slaved to me, so.
Oh, okay.
We still got our spotlight on, just so you know.
Copy. Thank you.
Yep.
Dagger, Warlord 7-0, we are back on station and ready for cast.
Hey, firm, good to have you back.
Dagger, Warlord 7-0, I have times to, looks to be BMP and BTR from previous engagement. Do you want me to re-engage? Over.
Hey, firm, clear to engage.
Copy, Warlord tallies and continuing to push contact. Warlord rifle.
No rifle.
Warlord rifle 2. Warlord rifle 3. Warlord rifle 4.
Everest.
It's gonna be 1 times munition that landed after Everest call. Break. Winchester and kilos.
Warlord, be advised, at the time you're type 3 on all remaining infantry within the town. Clear to engage.
Copy, Dagger. Type 3 control, all infantry within the town. Clear to engage. Warlord Dart.
Up there.
They just don't give a fuck. Everything's fucking not dying. Is this some kind of fucking game? Warlord, guns. Ah, never mind.
You need. That's my first time for that from the pilot seat. That's pretty badass.
Alright, let's get it back out over the edge of town. We gotta make sure that we're not flying in on direction or whatever, too, so.
Copy.
Nope, let's keep up our speed. Let's keep on that orbit. We just want to keep orbiting the town.
Affirm.
And let's pick up some altitude here, too.
Warning, fuel pressure critical. Warning, fuel critical.
Mayday, mayday, mayday. This is Warlord. We have just lost main engine. We are attempting to auto-rotate. Grid reference 200162.
Warlord, this Dagger, you copy on 7-9. Lost on fuel, attempting auto-rotate, grid reference 200162.
Dagger, Warlord, 7-9.
Pull up.
Reback is good. We're touching down. Time now.
Alright, out. Alright, good stuff. Let's get over here. Alright, from here on out, you're taking lead on this. So I'm following you. I can't really give you too much for tips, but I think you got it, so.
Okay, copy.
Remember to use all your...
Warlord, this Dagger, be advised, you are 1.2 clicks to the southwest of friendlies. Stand by as we organize pickup for you.
Dagger, this is Warlord, copy.
I'm with you.
I'm trying to find something to hide in, a building or something, but I can't see anything.
That's okay, just keep moving.
Dagger, this is Warlord on 7-9.
Go for Dagger.
Be advised, we are currently moving southeast. Present position is 203160. Again, moving southeast towards the solar farms.
Affirm, current position is 203160, moving southeast to Soul Farms.
Hey, I'm going to shift and head over here towards this power station here. See if we can't get out of this field.
All right. lane. I lost you. Where'd you go?
I am to your left.
Edwards' lane.
I'm to your left. I'm coming to you.
Okay, yep, I see you. Make sure you're not leaving your guy behind. Keep tabs
Yep.
on him. Don't be afraid to use the radio, too.
Yep. That's why I stopped and turned and looked. I was going to see if I could get into one of these little buildings over here, but they were all closed up. So maybe push to let's push to the left side of that little shed over there.
All right, just as long as we're staying out of the light, too, so.
Yeah, A-frame, we're going to skirt along the your 6 o'clock along the backside over here.
A-frame. You don't have to crouch the whole time.
Yeah, I know. I just get nervous because I'm 6'4".
You're a fucking handsome height.
Yeah, thank you.
The quarterback, 6'4". It sounds like fire to our west called in.
Dagger, this is Warlord.
Go for Dagger.
Be advised, current position 205160 inside of the power relay station. We have small arms fire off into the distance to our west.
Affirm, current position is 205160, small power station, small arms fire off to your southwest.
This garage is empty. It's got an inside office. I think that would be a nice place to hunker down until we wait for reinforcements.
Well, do we know if we're waiting for reinforcements, or are we supposed to push towards reinforcements? Because they're not that far away.
That is a good question. Okay. Dagger Warlord.
Go for Dagger.
Interrogative. Is rescue coming to my position, or should I push to friendly positions? Over.
Affirm, rescue is currently moving to your position. They are north of the town of Kalachori. They'll take a little bit to get through that town, and then they should be there to pick you up.
Copy. Solid copy. We found a warehouse that is empty. I think we're going to hunker down inside of that warehouse. Be advised, we have explosions off to our west also.
Hey, advise them we're going to meet them at the compound at 209160. There's a compound there that we can meet them at.
Dagger, be advised, grid reference 209160. There is a compound there. Might be a little farther away from the enemy position. We're going to push there and meet exfil there.
Affirm, be advised, exfil's already passed.
Oh, they just passed it. That's okay.
Okay, copy. We'll hold tight.
Yep, Affirm, they should be there within 30 seconds.
Copy.
All right, let's get to the south side of this barn here. All right, I hear him. Now it's going up. All right, there they are. Friendlies.
Dagger, be advised, we have linked up with friendlies.
Affirm.
Lane, are you with me?
I'm in.
Copy, Dagger. This is Warlord. Be advised, both pilots are now inside of the friendly Vic.
Affirm's all copy.
All right. Like my half dagger, half pilot outfit.
Yeah, it's very fashionable.
It's very confusing. He's job curious.
All right. So we're going to kind of go through the grading criteria one by one. Just give me 10 seconds here.
Affirm.
All right. So for weapon selection, I think minus the little issue there with the original loadout, the selection was spot on with both the Littlebird and the Apache, so no issues there. Check-ins were pretty good. Few issues there on the Lancer check-in. I guess some information didn't get translated over, or Dagger didn't catch it. I'm not sure which. Just make sure that we're communicating through that to ensure that they got the correct check-in for the aircraft you're piloting.
If I could ask a question about that real quick. I know that I'm pretty sure that it was because I didn't call, whether I was laser DCS or FAC capable. The reason that I didn't is because I was none of those. So I was under the assumption that if I was none of those, I just leave that blank. Is that incorrect for future reference?
Yeah, I mean, if you're not laser capable, you don't even mention it. You just can gloss right over that for the check-in.
Okay, copy.
If I recall right, there was some issues with loadouts in reference to the M134s.
Oh, correct. I didn't tell them. I told them I was full on the guns, but I didn't tell them what type of guns I was carrying.
Okay. 5 lines were pretty good. You're pretty much just receiving in that regard. So just as far as readbacks go, I didn't catch any major issues there. Chief Lane.
Nope, readbacks were good. There was no errors. You read back exactly what I read. I made an error one time as like I said, mixing up the X and the Y. You read it back as such, and then it was relayed to me that it was the incorrect grids, and I retransmitted it. You picked up the correct version, and then you also attacked the correct version. So good.
Okay, good. Lancer Gunnery. Taking the 5 line and put it into action. I think you did all right, minus the one little tunnel vision issue there. Just make sure that it's always better to call off a cast run before flying into the ground. I know. There's emphasis on wanting to get the targets killed or whatever, but it doesn't do anybody good if you aren't around after the fact. So just make sure that you're cognizant of where the aircraft is in relation to not only the targets but also for the obstacles that are presented in front of you. You did good there. So we went ahead and gave you the second chance on that. Apache, recon, and gunning. The only thing that I really would say that I would like you to work on is just prioritization of the targets. Chief Lane here threw a lot of anti-air stuff at us, to include stuff that are a little bit harder to evade, such as the BMP2s and the BTR-80 alphas, simply because they have that fly-by-wire system, and we can't, we have no detection method to determine if we've actually been shot at, so our only indication is that we're hit. So just make sure, when you're looking at the threats to the aircraft, make sure we're prioritizing those appropriately. So, true anti-air threats first, Tunguska, Shoka, Zeus cannons type of stuff. And then we can start looking at the BMP2s, the BTR-80 alphas, because at that point, we'll be able to move in closer within their engagement range. So we just got to make sure we communicate that those threats are in the AO still, and that we need to be cognizant of where we're flying our aircraft.
Affirm.
And then the only other piece is, and this is going to come with time, is just speed of of acquiring and then communicating where targets are on the ground. And then again, Chief Lane, your input on that.
Sure thing, Chief. Yeah, it's one of those things of one of the most helpful tips I can give is the bullseye is take advantage of it, especially if it's in the center of a target area or an operating area. It's pretty easy. The fastest way to acquire targets in the field or whatever is to reference off of a known off of something that you already know. So something that's very easy or very quick to be able to reference off of. For example, the bullseye reference in the center of the church there. During daylight hours, that's pretty easy to spot. I know one of the big problems with working in the Apache, as far as the gunnery stuff, is you want to use the flare imagery to really get kind of like to make sure you're seeing everything to the best that you can. And sometimes that's kind of a double-edged sword there, where you can get really sucked into working at like a high magnification in that IR setting, and the only thing that you can see are things emitting some sort of heat signature. So don't be afraid, especially for situational awareness purposes. Cycle out and get a look at your surroundings and make sure that you're referencing the correct stuff. And then another big thing too is anytime you're conducting ISR, this is one of the big reasons why it's almost mandatory to carry fucking Limas on the fuselage, is because that ability to get radar lock onto a target or whatever and verify what it is via radar contact. I mean, that's irrefutable proof of what your ISR is. So if you can't possibly identify it via visuals or whatever, don't hesitate to jump on that radar or whatever and confirm what you're looking at. So
yeah, and
just a quick comment. Sorry, just a quick comment on the Limas there. You can actually still use the radar system even if you're not carrying Limas. So don't use that as don't waste a pylon if you don't want to carry Limas. But I mean, I carry Limas anyway, so I mean they're the equivalent to the kilo, and a lot of times they're great for moving targets. So I would recommend carrying them anytime you expect any type of armor.
I was just going to add to that that was actually something that it never even dawned on me to use until you had mentioned it, Chief. As far as using the radar lock to pick out the targets and everything. And once I learned how to do that, then it was a lot easier to find the specific targets. I did have a problem there at the end when you switched me to the BM. The truck with the rocket launchers on the back. I saw the tank beside. Yeah, I saw the tank beside of it, and for some reason I kept keying on that tank destroyer, and I was like, "Is he talking about the rocket launchers?" That was just a vehicle that I wasn't familiar with. So, but yeah, using the radar lock definitely helped, because then I could just pop through there and see exactly what I was supposed to be shooting at.
Yeah, hey, and the other piece too is, if they call you in on a target and you're not entirely sure or familiar with what they're talking about, ask for clarification. Just a couple FTXs ago, they threw down some D30s or something. I thought they were talking about, I don't know, new type of tank or something. I was like,
none of us had a dusty fucking clue.
Like I was like, what is a D30? And they're like, oh, it's an artillery piece. Oh, okay, and I got it. But yeah, don't be afraid to ask. If you don't know what certain items are, what they're called, just be like, hey, what is that?
Okay.
Yeah, just as long as you have the general, like the most common stuff that we see, and or can describe what you're looking at or what the target is supposed to be, that is perfectly fine. Like if you don't know the name for it, if they could say, hey, it's an artillery piece, hey, that's good enough, as long as you can, get to the right target.
Okay, copy that.
The Apache pilot piece, I'm going to let Chief Lane talk that.
Thanks, Chief. So one of the big things or whatever that we really want to focus on when we're working piloting in the Apache is maintaining a good distance from the AO. Typically for any kind of gunnery or whatever, and this ties back into your approaches on targets or whatever. Unless the gunner specifically tells you that we're gonna go in on a target or whatever, the flexibility of the Apache is pretty good as far as being able to engage targets without actually having to look at them. Especially if we're engaging targets basically from like 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock, like anything on the far left and the far rights. That's pretty big as far as our flexibility that goes with that. So for the one of the main focuses that we really want to work on is just kind of maintaining, if we're going to set up a racetrack on an area, or if we're going to set something up, we want to start basically at about 4 clicks, because that's kind of our cutoff right now for the gun. And then we kind of work our way in there, kind of depending on how the gunner can transmit information and what kind of eyes he's got too, and then again, altitude is always our biggest friend. When we have the munitions that we have, altitude is huge, because especially with that camber, when you combo that up or whatever, you spend enough time behind the gun at this point to know the difference between shooting at something at 100 feet of elevation versus 3,000 feet of elevation. So,
Roger that.
It's and not even shooting, but just from an ISR standpoint, it's night and day being able to see it. So,
okay, copy that. Yeah, I do know that I definitely need to work on my standoff, especially when flying racetracks and orbiting. It's a matter of getting used to trying to maintain a nice consistent circle while also keeping you so that you can keep your gun on it. So that is definitely something that I know that I need to keep practicing on.
Yeah, and it goes back to just really kind of it gets back to more just being comfortable with how the flight model of the Apache really works. I noticed from spending enough time in the Apache and especially the Littlebird at this point, is you can, and like you and me talked about before, whatever, is you can put it in a 5-degree pitch kind of at most really, and you can kind of keep your throttle pretty much neutral, and or your collective pretty much neutral, and you can that shit'll fly itself, and then you can run that or whatever, and if the angle happens to be too steep on what you're looking at or whatever, then you can kind of coordinate with your gunner and go, okay, that's the big thing when piloting or whatever. The big improve that I would like to see from here on is coordinating with your gunner or whatever. Don't be afraid to ask, hey, how's your eyes? Hey, can you see okay? Hey, do you need more altitude? Do you need this or whatever? Like, get to the point where it's like, fucking no, we're solid, dude. So that way I can start sending information out or whatever. So.
Okay, roger that.
But yep. So overall, the flying was the flying itself wasn't bad. It's just it's the typical characteristics of someone who's focusing on the various things or whatever, and sometimes they get a little too sucked into the actual flying aspect and forget about the other things like the speed management and the attitude management and the relation to proximity to target. So, yep, it just comes with time. So.
Okay, roger.
All right. So the last 2 pieces are the auto rotation and evasion exercise. So in terms of the auto rotation, it was beautiful, man. There's not really much critique can find in there. You landed it in one piece. You guys were able to get out, and then move on to the evasion piece. Now for the evasion piece, I really like how you decided not to stick around the bird. That bird is, one, it's a big target, But not only that, anybody who was watching it, or potentially, or the reason you had to do the auto rotate in the first place, they're going to see where that went down. So that's the first place that they're going to go when they're looking for, you. So the fact that you got out of that bird and just immediately, got the heck out of there and ran, southeast in this case, really awesome. It was away from the town that you guys were just engaging. So it did take a little bit longer for the enemy to catch up to you. And then it took a little while for Blue 4 guys here to get their QRF in gear and then start moving out to where you are. So from what I saw, the evasion piece was pretty good. And, the enemy Op4 caught up to you right as the QRF was pulling up. So from my perspective, that was pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Chief Lane so he can kind of talk what he saw.
Yeah, thanks, Chief. Yeah, I would definitely agree. Whatever, the evasion piece was pretty smooth. That was kind of the whole thing. Like, I was like, that's why I urged you as soon as we got out of the helo, like, hey, whatever we need to do, we need to move. And then you said, Roger that. You picked up a bearing and took us that way, and we fucking moved. And from there, whatever, we didn't take any contact until we were already in the hands of friendlies. So, easy day.
I'll copy that.
Well, congratulations. I will say at this point you have successfully passed your day 4. Don't think completing day 4 is the end of your learning and improvement as a pilot. Going forward, make sure that you find the areas that you are weak at, get with another pilot if you must, and practice those areas and continue to improve. Give me about 10 or 15 minutes and I will have your flight school day 4 report up. And you can add that to your personnel file. So at this point, do you have any questions?
None whatsoever. Just thank you for all your help. Mr. Lane, thank you. I mean, you've been invaluable to me for this entire time. Chief keeps calling you Chief, so I'm going to call you Chief too. But yeah, thank you both for all of your help. It's been a really fun ride, and I can't wait to get out there and start flying some FTXs in operations.
All right. Well, I don't have anything else for you. I know this was kind of long. I think we're pushing 4 hours at this point. So I completely understand if you want to bounce out of here.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you, gentlemen.
Jesus Christ, we are pushing 4 hours. Holy fuck!
Thanks for making the time for us.
Word.
All right, that's the end of my stream. So thanks for watching. That was a long day, a little stressful, but a lot of fun. Finally passed flight school, and I'm going to clean up this video a little bit and get it up on YouTube if anyone wants to watch. And thanks for watching.